Hello, everyone, and welcome to Legend of the Stoned Owl. We like to call it LOTSO, and my name is Chris.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Alan.
And I'm Jeremy.
Hey there, J-Man.
Hey there.
We got a full crew tonight on LOTSO because actually we're gonna increase our crew load by 2 when we get an interview segment. We're really excited to say in this episode we'll be having our I'd say our first official industry interview for LOTSO. So it's a big moment for the show. It's always exciting, and it's gonna be with Lazlow from the Rockstar fame and many other epic titles, and also Carlos Antonio, who also comes from many other fames, but was involved with Red Dead Redemption, and in particular voiced many of the characters, I think up to 8 on that. And
did some of the mocap, he called it.
The motion capture, he did, I think, a bunch of those guys too. Or he voiced 4 and did 8 mocaps or something like that. I mean, just a ton of work in Red Dead. And so he's got a really interesting perspective on the guts of the game, and just kind of also in the industry as an actor getting involved in that digital capture. But, of course, then we've also got some of the classic questions for Lazlow, because he's been involved with all of the big Rockstar titles from Grand Theft Auto's up, right? Was your guys' favorite Grand Theft Auto he was in?
San Andreas, hands down.
Yeah. And Jeremy, what's his favorite thing about work you are familiar with?
I'm afraid I don't play Grand Theft Auto.
He's been in other stuff too.
You know, after I did a lot of research before this, just so I didn't sound like a complete moron when he comes on. Yeah. Red Dead Redemption looks like the best.
Oh, for sure. I mean, as far as gaming, I actually was a fan. He used to be on Sirius Radio, and I had Sirius Radio for a short period of time, and we tuned into his radio show from time to time. But I guess we could quit talking about it and start talking to him. Let's get into the interview. All right, guys, and that music means it is the LOTSO interview segment, and we have the extreme pleasure of welcoming Lazlow to the show, also known as just Lazlow. And also joining him is just Carlos, also known as Carlos Antonio, actor and also voice coach on one of many things you guys know of as Red Dead Redemption. And, of course, Lazlow Jones is known for so many things, and also particularly his involvement with so many popular Rockstar titles.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yep, which we are big fans of on LOTSO. So, of course, we wanted to jump at the opportunity to get both these guys on the show. So, guys, welcome to LOTSO.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Thank you very much. How's it going?
So, where are you guys both calling in? Lazlow, we'll go with you first. Where are you calling in from tonight?
New York. Long Beach, New York, by the beach.
Nice. And, Carlos, where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from beautiful downtown Hollyweird, California.
Now, I think a lot of people will be familiar with Lazlow. Carlos, let's jump in a little history with you. Where did you start before you got into video games? Anything we might know you from?
No, nothing special. I'm mainly obviously an actor, and I've been doing television and film for the past 15 or so years. And obviously, when Red Dead Redemption was, they were casting actors to do obviously the motion capture and the voice work. That's kind of how I became part of their family.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Now, Carlos, you downplay it a bit, but I know that we have seen you previously on, you mentioned earlier America's Most Wanted.
Oh,
and
yeah.
How could you not claim that on?
We got to hear that. Yeah, we want to hear that story.
Okay, oh man, I didn't know you were going to start off with that.
Yeah, we got to start them good.
We may as well get that story out of the way. Well, basically, what happened was that kind of like RDR, I've had the distinct. I don't know if it's a distinct honor, but I've actually played a wanted fugitive 3 times, a total of 3 times on that show. It's literally the only show that'll hire me. Here.
Now I'm not going to say anything
a little bit,
but but literally in a span of 4 years, I've played a wanted fugitive criminal, Mexican criminal 3 times. So anyway. The second time I did it was kind of like a very souped-up version of the reenactment. It was basically like a little feature film. And what happens is that for Sweeps month in November,
very dramatic.
Got to make it flashy.
Yeah.
They take a segment and they put a lot of money into it. So they had really professional actors, very talented actors, and
then you.
And me. And see, the only reason I got the job is because I looked like the perp. You see.
I see.
So. But in any event, what happened was that I'll go fast here. The segment was about a young woman who basically sets up an older, wealthier guy into a relationship, but completely with malintent. And I play her like partner in crime, sort of her accomplice. So I actually didn't have that big a role. So, but however, what I did have was, I guess, what could be described as a fairly racy bed scene.
That's always fun.
With the girl. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you could. I guess it could be described as fun. But in the context of the story, and it was her episode. I mean, she had all these scenes, and the guy who played the victim was the other lead. And I only pop in and out. I was this creepy dude that was stalking them.
Nice.
So it turns out that she's like this Patty Hearst type of chick. She's the main criminal, villainous, what have you. And so anyway, we're doing the scene, and we record it, and we shoot it. And the episode airs. This was 2 years ago. This is in 2008. And the episode airs, and I don't know if you guys know this, but the show, there's a chronic problem on the show that the actors that they hire to play the criminals often get stopped by the police. It happens. It actually has happened quite a bit. And so anyway, I'm like, oh man, is something going to happen here? Oh no. So sure enough, I'm jogging in Hollywood, right here in Hollywood. It's about 8:30 at night, and it's dark.
Oh no.
And I'm jogging, and I hear woo, behind me, and two not LAPD. They were actually sheriff deputies, LA County sheriff deputies. They get out of their car and they make me stand against a wall,
No kidding.
And I'm scared and I'm sweaty, and they're sweating me down, and they're not being like totally, it wasn't a Rodney King thing. It wasn't anything like that. But they make
that would have
me
made a
stand
better story.
Yeah, right. But
We'll fix that in editing.
Exactly. And so they make me stand against the wall, and they're like, "Hey, you buddy, stand right there." And then one of them on his phone had, because you know how like newfangled these phones are nowadays, you can basically pull a helicopter out of these things.
Yeah. You can call in the strike squad. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, calling the SWAT team. So, and on his phone, he had the episode, or I think he had gone to amw.com.
No.
Oh,
and
crazy.
He had the episode that had aired 3 days before on his phone. So he shows me, he hits play, and he hands me his phone. And sure enough, he shows me me in bed with this chick. in my underwear, and she was in this nightie, whatever. And I don't. And by the way, I haven't seen it yet. I have not seen myself yet in the show. I haven't seen it because I attended a film premiere the night that it aired, and I haven't seen it, and I'm already scared. And I'm watching this, and he orders me. He goes, "Watch," and he orders me to watch, and then he goes, with a big smirk on his face, he goes, "Is that you?" And I go, "Well, yeah, yeah, it is." And right hand to God, he looks at his partner, he looks at me, and he goes, "Good job, man."
No kidding. No kidding.
No kidding. And he goes, "Good job, man." And they shake my hand and they walked away.
That is
dude,
awesome.
that's messed up though.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm wondering. So now, have you had any other things like just general public issues where they get that kind of confused, where they get the identity mixed up?
Yeah, no, I have not. I have heard of other incidents where
That's
other
good.
actors have been, they've had guns pulled on them, and they've
Oh,
had.
no kidding.
One guy got beat up. He was at a mall here in San Bernardino. And a bunch of youths, I think, just jumped on him and like beat him up because they thought that the actor was the actual criminal. So
That's awesome. So you got to watch out.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is that episode aired 4 times because they never caught the fugitive. They
wow.
caught my character. They caught my character, but they never caught the girl. So when it aired again, I was shopping at a Trader Joe's here in Miracle Mile. I don't know if you have those up there.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was shopping at TJ's, and some dude some random guy comes up, and he goes, I saw you on the show last night. You were really good. You're a good actor," and he congratulated me. So it's happened.
Awesome.
It's happened twice. Yeah.
You're very good in bed, I guess.
Now, yeah,
guess
you
that-
left an
yeah, well,
impression. Now, Lazlow, is that how you got to meet Carlos here? Did he leave an impression on you through America's Most Wanted?
Actually, when I met him, he was in his underwear, and I was like, "You really don't need to do that because this is a casting call for clothes on," and he just takes his clothes off and he says, "Don't I look super awesome?" And I was
You
like,
do
"Well,
have to appreciate a man who will, go in with his best foot. You do have to.
Well, people in Hollywood are desperate, and if a man is willing to take his clothes off, I just might hire him.
It worked.
Yeah, no kidding. Now we got all everybody here on the panel, huge Red Dead Redemption fans, and so we know both you guys were involved. We've got a lot to talk about on Carlos. Lazlow, I wanted to give you a sec because we've seen I've followed your blog and things like that, and so I know you've been involved in many different aspects of the game. I'm just kind of curious though, in what capacity?
Well,
I
started working at Rockstar back in 2001. My first game was GTA 3.
Yes.
And
love it.
The games have gotten bigger and bigger over the years. And when we started working on Red Dead Redemption, we were like, we want to create a Mexico in the game. And unlike other games where you bump into people who are of different nationalities or in different countries and they speak sort of broken English, we wanted you to show up in Mexico in Red Dead Redemption and everybody speaking proper Spanish from 1912, 1914. So
it fits.
we met Carlos. We met Carlos, and he started doing a lot of translating with us, and when we were directing, because when you play any of our open world games, there are hundreds of characters walking around that you can bump into. If you bump into them, they'll say one thing. If you shoot at them, they'll say another thing. And so hundreds of characters requires, a ton of dialogue. And so we worked with Carlos for weeks in LA, and he sat in with us as we directed and, made sure that, one, the dialogue was authentic, and two, that it didn't sound like, 2009 or 2010 Mexican dialect.
And this is really all because you're trying to protect the immersion of the player, right?
Right, because when you're playing the game that's set in 1912, you don't want somebody to come along and sound like they're from from South Central from 2008 or 2009. So
absolutely,
it was cool. It was cool working with Carlos and he was with us for weeks, and he was instrumental in making sure that authenticity came through.
That's awesome. Now, Carlos, when you were involved with Red Dead, now, am I remembering correctly that you actually were not just doing the voice capture for several of the characters, but also a lot of the motion capture, so some of the actual physical acting out of the emotes in game and things like that?
That's correct. Yeah, I came on board in early of almost 2 years ago, in early of 2009, April of 2009, and basically what happened was, and I got to give this guy a great shout out, my friend Hector Luis Bustamante, who plays Captain De Santa in the game.
Okay.
Nice.
This guy is a piece of work. He's an Imagen Award winner. He's an award-winning actor, and he was working along with Rob Weedhoff, John Marston, and the other characters for a while. And basically what happened was Rockstar just asked him, hey, do you know of any Spanish speakers that can do mocap and whatever? And then he forwarded my info to the people at Rockstar.
Now, the mocap, that's the motion capture, where the mocap stands for like motion capture with the full bodysuit, right?
It's the full skin-tight bodysuit with a bunch of light bulbs and wires on it.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
And Carlos really likes a skin-tight bodysuit.
Especially when covered in balls.
But Hector, and so Hector forwards my info, and then I get a call from Rockstar. This is crazy, and one of the producers there basically auditions me literally over the phone and says, hey, I got your photo, I got your demo reel here. Can you do a Mexican accent? So I said, well, yeah. And she goes, okay, well, do it. And I'm like, what, you mean now over the phone? And so kind of put me off guard. And so
I do you remember what she had you say?
Yes, I do. I improvised, and I did Mr. Rourke from Fantasy Island, Ricardo Montalban.
Yes.
And I did it, and she started cracking up, and I just, did, welcome to Fantasy Island.
That is really great.
And she started, and I just remember this like yesterday, she started cracking up, and she goes, okay, you got the part. And that was it. 2 days later, 9 o'clock in the morning, I was on a soundstage in Culver City with the great Rockstar people, Francesca and other people. Rod Edge was our director, amazing guy. And one day, and then I get to the set, and And I see these amazing, talented actors. I see my friend Yvette Yates, who's also an Imahine Award nominee, and she's also won awards. Very talented girl. And then, what was this? Gary Cervantes, who's a veteran, legendary character actor. And I'm like, what do you guys do? Oh my God! And then,
No
because
kidding.
you got to understand, at the time, I didn't know what Red Dead Redemption was,
Right.
and I didn't know what it would become.
Right.
It was all classified then, and I just had no idea. I just had my lines, and that's it.
Oh, but you got to
And-
figure with Rockstar, you're going to be making some money.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't really go wrong with their games.
But remember, Carlos mentioned earlier before we started recording, he's not really that much of a gamer, so
Yeah.
might not.
Unfortunately.
Probably
Oh.
didn't probably
I
didn't
didn't
know
even-
like what some of the franchises were of already existing games.
I had heard of GTA, and that's it. And literally, that's it. I'm sorry to say, but
Not even Mario Brothers or anything.
That tells you how big GTA is. No kidding.
So anyway, so that's what happened. So we just jumped right into it, and we started working. And then one day, and here's where I really owe a debt of gratitude to Rockstar, is that literally one day of mocap they just kept calling me back. They must not have been paying very close attention to my acting
We were
abilities
desperate.
because they loved it. They were desperate. They were just like, okay, he speaks Spanish and English. All right, put him on. Who cares?
That's handy.
Yeah, that's it. And then they literally just kept calling me back. And then, as I mentioned to you earlier, I'm not sure about this, but I think I set the record for the most characters mocaps. Like, I literally motion captured about 8 or 9 completely different characters.
Now, what kind of time, like when you're in there, how long are you in that suit doing those different gestures?
Oh, all day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Does that
No,
get-
you're there all day.
That's a
Yeah,
hot suit.
I mean, not really. No.
oh, that's
no,
good.
no.
'Cause that would
It's
be
a fairly
long.
comfortable suit. The only thing that wasn't that comfortable was that it's got wires and it's got a bunch of lights, and then you're wearing this helmet with a camera that sticks out about a foot in front of your face.
Whoa.
So, so that kind of can make it difficult if you have a scene where you're close up with someone,
Yeah, I could
because
tell.
your cameras will collide and that kind of thing.
Now,
you get used to it.
Now, Lazlow, have you ever jumped into any of the motion captures? You've been, have you done any cameos in the game?
Well, yeah, I've done motion capture. I mean, I've worked on games since 2001, so I've played a bunch of different parts, and I've been on motion capture sets, and it's definitely weird trying to act natural when you're in a wetsuit that's got ping pong balls glued to it, and you've got a huge camera thing that's mounted on your face
Very
that's
awkward,
capturing
yeah.
every so basically when Carlos was in that suit, every eyebrow lift that he did, every move of his lip is captured, and then that's transformed, and the animation experts will put that on his character in the game. So
Now you've seen Lazlow.
so
You've seen like this generational, like some of the most advances in this technology. Yeah, as far as this technology's come, this specific motion capture, has this kind of been something that is extremely still cutting edge, or has this kind of now been stabilized, and what you guys have been doing for the last few years now has just kind of become the way you do it?
Well, you sort of make it up as you go. To be honest, like the way that you did things 2 years ago, it is completely different and old school to the way you do it now. I mean, we're constantly fabricating new materials, new cameras, new headsets, so that we can capture people's faces better.
Well, you guys captured horses for the game, didn't you? I read that there was some actual capturing for
L.A. Noire.
Yeah.
That game
yeah, what
is the Team Bondi. They're doing all that crazy mocap work where the actual dialogue in the game is motion captured people.
LA Noire, it's a whole new motion capture system, and we worked with the guys at Bondi in Australia. I was actually on the phone with them last night because Australia is like upside down, and you have to talk to them at 11 o'clock at night. But they're basically working to completely capture the actor's face as it looks, and then map that onto a character in the game. So, when you've got actors, they look like when they're in the game, they look like the actual people. So that's an interesting new technology.
I mean, what do you think about
we're
that?
working with.
Is that getting a little creepy, or do you think it's awesome?
Oh, I think it's awesome. I mean, the farther creepy equals awesome in my life. But
What do you think, Carlos, as an actor? Do you think it's awesome?
I think, honestly, I think it is the future of the industry, or of a large part of it. And other actors I know are dying to do it because they're just dying of curiosity. So
I mean, we're not just blowing smoke here. I mean, we're obviously huge video game fans, but I mean, we're of the opinion that the work that you guys are doing is the new creative entertainment. I mean, I think movies are going to be last generation's entertainment eventually, and I think the stuff that you guys do in this motion capture is just the beginning of it, I think.
Yeah, and it is very relevant. It is very important as a performer to get that right and to sell a performance. It's not just about shooting, or it's not just about writing. And it's that emotion. And if I look at, I've been kind of spying on the blogosphere,
sure,
just out of curiosity from Red Dead Redemption, and people are saying that I'm not going to spoil anything, but that the game literally makes them cry.
Yeah,
and that's what because of the emotionality of the characters. And,
it was sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ending, and I will have to say, based on what you do in the game, will change the ending. But you were going back to the motion capture for Red Dead, and this was the first time that any video game company had done this. We got horses and put motion capture contacts on them and put them on treadmills in the motion capture studio, and then had them run at full speed. So we captured every flex of the muscle, which is why the horses in the game look so amazing.
The horses really do.
Yeah,
the horses ran great in that game. And it was the first game to really
the music. I wanted to touch on the music for a second, because one of the things that Red Dead does with the music, and I'm seeing this some more, but it's just so awesome, is you have like this almost like base layer of music, and then as events change and occur in the game, like different stuff happens. Like when you get in a fight, like the music amps up.
Oh, it's just like what they did in Bully.
It's awesome though, and I can imagine the work that goes into that, because you have to create each individual. Right? Is that how it works? You have to create each individual music for each possible scenario.
Well, what we did was, a lot of games just have a soundtrack, so a song plays when certain things happen. What we did is we created stems, and actually, if you go to the Rockstar Games .com website, we just did a small sort of documentary piece that shows how we did this with all these musicians, and we hired like a harmonica player that's been doing Western for like 60 years, and he's so awesome.
Yeah,
Tommy Morgan
super
is his
talented.
name.
Yeah.
But what we did was, the whole idea of our games is to make every experience unique. Like when you play a game, when you play Red Dead Redemption and your friend plays Red Dead Redemption, we want it to be a completely different experience for both of you. So with the music, what we did is we created stems, and music stems will be fired by the game based on what's happening. So if you come over a hill and there's a bad guy, it will put in a bass line, and if you start shooting, it'll add a drum line, and then trumpets will come in. And so everything that you do in the game the music will change on the fly.
That it's the immersion thing. It's like you're really there now, guys. What I want to do is I want to go around the panel here and give the guys an opportunity to get some of their questions. And so we'll go down the line. Justin, you have a question for Lazlow or Carlo?
Yeah, Lazlow. I was wondering, out of all the Grand Theft Autos, I mean, which do you personally like the best,
or most proud of? Which one do you think represents
Grand Theft Auto? Say that again.
Which one would you say is the most iconic representation of the franchise?
Just
the one you like. The one you like to play the best.
Well, it has to be the most recent one that I've worked on, because you fall in love with the city that you create, because we're creating virtual worlds. And that's what was great about working with Carlos on Red Dead, is you're making a virtual world, and you make this world, and you go in, and for years you're crafting it, and then the game comes out, and then you sit down and you play it and you experience it, and then when you finish the game as a creator, you're kind of sad, because you're like, oh, I have to create this, and now I have to leave. But every GTA that I create with all these amazing talented people is my most recent favorite. I
can understand that. That's really how our projects are too.
Because I've thrown so much so much effort into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta ask, with that though, is there any chance of going back, because I know you've done like a lot of the Vice City stories and stuff like that, so is there any chance of going back to like San Andreas at all? Because that was one with the soundtrack in the 90s, everything, like it hit us really good. We love it. We still listen to the soundtrack just when we're running around at work and stuff.
We're getting a little I think we're getting a little wireless interference or something. Alan, go ahead and pick up where you were going.
All right. So, anyways, Lazlow, with that, like, is there any chance of going back and doing like San Andreas stories or anything like that?
Well, what do you mean for the PSP? Because we did Vice City stories and Liberty City stories.
Yeah, or just for the arcade or just anything like that.
That's
like
what we've all been wondering for a while, is if you could bring any GTA game to the arcade or PlayStation network.
Well, if you brought a GTA game to the arcade, a person would be in the arcade for 50 hours.
Oh, we're talking about the Xbox Live Arcade. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. They used to tell me about what the plans were for future games, but then, I'd go on radio shows and party and drink beer and stuff, and then like reveal secrets. So they were like, maybe we should stop telling Lazlow what the future plans are.
Man, I'm gonna kind of take that as a hint that we could always expect it, though. That's kind of what that sounded like to me.
Yeah,
that's a possibility.
Or we just need to buy him a few more drinks.
Yeah.
The thing about Rockstar too is that they're so good about hiding what their games are about, not letting any of it out.
Carlos, we're getting some static on you again.
I think I asked him about.
Well, guys, can we talk for a second about, and either one of you can pick up on this one. Some of the fans have been talking more and more, generating more and more buzz about some of the downloadable content that's going to be released for Red Dead Redemption soon, right?
Yeah, we've got a DLC pack that's going to be released pretty soon, and then we've got a zombie pack that's coming out around.
That's awesome.
I think, hopefully I won't spill the beans on this one, but it's going to around Halloween.
Oh, that's nice.
That's perfect.
All right, now Jeremy, you wanted to get a question in.
Let's see, two different things. Actually, the DLC we already covered. I'm wondering, though, is Carlos involved in the DLC?
Carlos, any of your work going to be in the DLC?
No, not as of right now, as far as I know.
Oh, man.
You didn't get a call for that one?
Yeah, that's the thing. Now, Carlos, let me ask you about that. Once you go in there, don't they kind of have your essence of whatever acting you did forever? Couldn't they just reuse you without bringing you back in? Is that how that works?
No, well, not exactly, because it's in the cutscenes. I mean, there's dialogue,
right,
and there's motion, and
but I mean your likeness, your visual, your likeness, not necessarily your voice.
Yeah, no, not really, because they can basically change what you look like. I mean, they can get my reactions for some of the stuff that I did, but I'm not aware of how they would be able to reuse what I did, unless the cutscene is exactly the same as what I did when I played Ramon, or play a Mexican gunslinger or whatever. It would be exactly.
All right, Al. Now you had your hand up for the next question. Go.
Oh no, I'm always kind of curious on what you're working on currently. Both Lazlow and Carlos.
Yeah, let's kick it off. Lazlow,
like what's going on right now? What are you guys working on?
Well, right now we're working on LA Noire, which is a huge bit of work, as well as Max Payne 3.
Oh, you are working on Max Payne. Nice.
And we've also got the Red Dead downloadable packs, which a lot of companies just kind of throw out downloadable packs that we did with the GTA 4 when we did the add-on packs. We treat those as whole new games, so we throw a lot of work into them. So the next couple of download packs for Red Dead are going to have a huge amount of content.
Lazlow, before we shift gears, I wanted to just take a tangent off that downloadable content question. One of the things we talk a lot about on this show is the future of console gaming and PC gaming. We really see downloadable content. Like, I'm sure Microsoft wants to have everybody on the Xbox to download the games, like on the next console or something. And I'm wondering if you've been involved with this stuff over the years, what is your opinion of distributing stuff over things like Xbox Live and the internet versus distributing it over discs and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, most companies would prefer to release stuff, by a download, just because it's instant.
It's cheaper.
And
it's cheaper.
And if it's cheaper, I mean, look at Blockbuster. They're announcing, I think, this week that they're about to go bankrupt, and that's because people people are too fat and lazy to go and pick up a movie. They want to click on
They want to stream to them.
a remote. They want to click on a remote control and just have it instant, and that's the future. Whether it's movies or video games, the second a video game comes out, you want to be able to just download it. So hopefully in the next 10 years, that's where we'll be headed.
I never looked at it from the fat asshole perspective like that before.
That's the only perspective I've got.
Carlos, now any projects you want to share with us that you're working on right now?
Yeah. I just wrapped the film. It's actually pretty exciting. It's a futuristic, or it's a
porn.
present day.
It's totally a porn. Awesome.
Futuristic porn.
Well, it is. Well, at Lazlow, the film is called Moby Dick. I don't know if that arouses you or anything like that, but it's a present day retelling of Moby Dick, of the Herman Melville classic.
Interesting.
And the Pequod, which is a whaling vessel in the original, is a nuclear submarine that is deployed to hunt the white whale, which is a 600-foot long prehistoric.
That's hardcore.
That sounds awesome, actually.
Oh yeah, and the great Golden Globe winner Barry Bostwick plays Captain Ahab, and I play Captain Macy. Believe it or not, I actually got cast to play captain. I don't know if you can believe that or not, but I play the captain of a smaller vessel that is set upon by the white whale, and I won't divulge what happens.
Is Barry Bostwick the dude from Seinfeld?
Barry Bostwick? No, Barry Bostwick is the mayor from Spin City.
Spin City, all right. That guy's hilarious.
Yeah. That guy is amazing. He's a great talent. He's a nice guy, and so I just did that, and we actually filmed my scenes out in the open water, and it was like, oh man, I'm such a landlubber. It's like I'm about to throw up on the camera, man. It was hilarious, but I got through it, so thank goodness for that.
The pro style. Now, Lazlow, one of the things I wanted to ask you about was the show that you do, the Lazlow, or it's Lazlow show, right?
Yeah, Lazlow show.
You do that live, don't you?
Yeah. Well, that's just sort of a hobby that I do when
That's
I'm not
awesome.
busy cranking on games. Is because I started doing a radio show on K-Rock
Right.
in New York, and we were doing them weekly, and then we started doing monthly shows on Opie and Anthony's channel on XM Satellite Radio, and then there was a merger that happened that the lovely FCC allowed, and we've kind of stepped away from doing the monthly shows on satellite just because they don't want to pay anything to anyone that's not a baseball star.
Mm-hmm.
So
Anyone with good
and-
radio.
yeah,
The
and-
virus
and
was
plus,
awesome when you guys were on it. We had the box sets and everything. We listened to the show a lot actually, and we're pretty disappointed that you're only at episode 44 right now. I think it is, right?
We are the laziest radio people in humanity. We started in 2005. We've done 44 episodes. It's like, wow, what inspiration! I think we've done two shows this year. It's like, you think we could get a little bit more effort, but with Red Dead and Carlos can speak to this too. It's like we worked like lunatics to put this game out, and when we were out shooting in LA, it's like at the end of the shoot day, it was me and Carlos and a few people on the set, and it's just like all you want to do is go have a few shots of whiskey and pass out, and then do it again for the next day for a month. And so when you're working like that, Carlos is doing all the motion capture and everything else. The last thing you want to do is like, let's put together a radio show for free and be funny.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we get that.
We do get that, absolutely. Well, I just think it's really cool because it's been a way just following the site. It's a great way for the people that follow your career.
Oh
to just
yeah,
kinda
your
keep
new
in touch.
website looks way better than the last one, dude.
Yeah, it does. I gotta admit, though, working with those actors when they would come in for me was of course monotonous, and it got kind of like tiring. But working with Lazlow and the way that he would crack jokes and just be how he was, and him and Anthony Litton and all these other people were just it totally made my day. It was not only educational, but I had a great time doing it. So I really appreciated that, and it was a lot of fun.
Right on, guys.
Very nice.
Well, you guys, thank you
Yeah.
both for joining us on LOTSO. And Lazlow, Carlos, you guys want to chime in with anything before we go?
Not really.
Well,
Go ahead, Les.
I'm hoping to do the next Grand Theft Auto is going to be Grand Theft Auto Mexico City, and it's just going to be Carlos running around hijacking fools for their ATM
My
cards.
underwear.
And nothing
Yeah.
but Fernando on the radio.
Yeah, and it will be in my underwear with a machete. That's what it'll be.
All right, you put it on for downloadable, and I'll buy it for $6.
Oh yeah, we'll make history there. Trust me, guys.
All right, anything else, guys, before we go? Go ahead. What you got? One last question? No. Nope. All right, Jeremy. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna end it there, and I just wanted to say thanks so much for joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you very much,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you very much.
And that brings us to the end of this week's episode of LOTSO. This is a fun episode. It's a little different. And you know what? Actually, this isn't going to be the last episode that's going to be a little different, because what are we doing, you guys?
We're going to PAX.
That's right. LOTSO's going to attack the crap out of PAX.
You might even see
hell
Justin's
yeah.
face.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Nah, not going to happen.
You know what?
I'll edit that
We've
out.
already got an invite to a few things that people are going to want to really freaking know about. Portal Co-op demo. Preview. Exclusive access to Portal demo
Loud.
Co-op.
Loud.
Man, that was weird. I got that in my throat. And a bunch of other really cool stuff we're going to get our hands on at PAX, and we're going to get footage of that. And so next LOTSO is going to feature a lot of the, we're going to get the cream of the crop, right, guys?
We're gonna get some
Cream
swag.
all swag.
Totally getting some swag. Yeah, actually all of Jupiter Broadcasting is going to attack the crap out of PAX.
Oh,
and by the time this
hell yeah.
episode comes out, PAX will be like this weekend. So if you guys are going to be at PAX, follow me on Twitter. I am twitter.com/ChrisLAS, or Jeremy, he's twitter.com/JBJeremy.
That's right.
And we'll be tweeting up what we're doing. And if you want to get on LOTSO, just come say hi to us and say, LOTSO rocks! And we'll get a...
And we'll be
get a
really
video.
surprised.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've never actually seen your faces, because we're silhouetted out if they watch the video version. But all right, guys, I want to say thanks to Lazlow and Carlos for coming on the show. Epically cool, guys, and we hope to talk to you real soon. And everyone, LOTSO comes out every other Thursday. It's a fortnightly kind of thing. You'll get it. And it's on Thursdays over at JupiterBroadcasting.com. So if you're hearing this week, then in 2 weeks, you'll hear an all-new one. And we hope you'll join us then.
Thanks for listening to Legend of the Stone Owl. Legend of the Stone Owl is produced over at JupiterBroadcasting.com. That's where you can find the show, subscribe, all those good things, leave us feedback, and also where you'll find us every 2 weeks. Thanks for listening to this episode. We'll see you in a fortnight.
Call
361.
36 what?
361.
361.
So what have you been doing tonight, Lazlow?
Hanging out with a dog.
Nice. A big dog or a little girly dog?
No, girly dogs are for women.
That's nice. You got a couple of dog fans on the show, so.
Yeah, I got little girly dogs.
No, I just go with Lazlow, because that's a little bit more Bono kind of share, and I'm hoping to
I dig it. Hey, you know what? I dig
Yeah,
it.
I'm hoping to up my tax bracket and just introduce Carlos as just Carlos.
All right.
Oh man.
Uh-oh. Record that whole last part with Lazlow?
Yeah.
We got most of it.
Most of it.
Most
Yeah.
of it.
Well, you guys started going off with it, and I didn't get it.
We turned off the
No,
recorder.
You
but yeah.
shouldn't have until we hung up.
Well, I told him to stop.
He told me to.
Oh, dude.
Well, because we were in your mic. Get in your mic. I want you to make love to that thing. Here we go.
That's usually exactly what you do.
Oh, go
If
ahead.
you could let me, have a quick listen to it before it goes on, just because Rockstar normally doesn't do sort of interviews
Sure.
like this.
Yeah.
So if you could just let me hear it to make sure everything's.
I had a feeling you wanted to loosen up, too, a little bit. We should have had some fun, but
I know.
you know.